Hello and welcome to this webinar. My name is Matthias Jäger. I'm a consultant and I'm going to introduce you to the Vocational Skills Development Typology Tool number 1. On the left, you can see the content of my presentation. Vocational skills development is a very complex issue. It is multifaceted, it belongs to different policy areas, it serves different purposes, and it produces different types of outcomes. In many of our partner countries, vocational skills development is usually scattered among different ministries, and it is financed from different budgets. Vocational skills development requires interinstitutional and private sector cooperation. This altogether makes the design of good vocational skills development projects very challenging. This typology tool shall support project designers and decision makers, including national program officers, to understand the complexity and the diversity of vocational skills development, and in particular to avoid conflicting objectives, to select the right partners for the right projects, and, most important, to formulate plausible outcomes. As already mentioned above, vocational skills development belongs to different policy areas. These are namely the education policy, the social policy, and the economic policy. Through that, vocational skills development contributes to the related Sustainable Development Goals, number 4, inclusive education, number 8, decent work and economic growth, and number 10, reduced inequalities. If vocational skills development does all this, it also contributes indirectly to the Sustainable Development Goal number 1, no poverty. Because vocational skills development is so diverse and multifaceted, we have developed a coordinate system to differentiate and categorize the different types of vocational skills development. In this coordinate system, the horizontal axis captures the primary policy orientation of an intervention between economic and social objectives, and the vertical axis captures the primary impact of an intervention between impact on the education system and direct impact on employment and/or productivity. Of course, at the end of the day, vocational skills development has to serve social and economic objectives, and it has to be based on a sustainable system and have impact on employment and productivity. But individual projects cannot do everything at a time. They have to select their primary policy orientation. This coordinate system leads to 4 basic types of vocational skills development, as you can see on this slide. Type 1 of vocational skills development or national vocational education and training systems. Projects working in this quadrant strengthen the delivery capacities of VET institutions and national systems as a whole. Target groups are school-leaving youth and young adults. That means the main clientele of national systems. The key instruments for projects in this quadrant are organizational and institutional development. It can be quality development, for instance, through curriculum development, teachers and instructors training, or final examinations. It can be the development of selected building blocks of national systems, like for instance, establishment of a skills testing authority or establishment of a teachers training institute or other institutions. Or it can be consultancy support to systems development. Partners in this quadrant are primarily ministries of vocational education or, depending on the country, other ministries which are responsible for vocational skills development. Partners can also be selected institutions like centers of excellence, or it can be private sector organizations. Type 2 of vocational skills development is access and inclusion. This is about inclusion of potential students from specific target groups into regular programs of the VET system at any qualification level. This can also be about reinsertion of early school leavers into the education system. Key instruments for projects working in this quadrant are information campaigns or stipends. It can be the whole range of positive discrimination, like for instance quota system or relaxed entry qualifications. It can be mobile training or distance learning, or it can be catch-up education. Main partners in this quadrant are ministries of education, maybe ministries of social affairs. The private sector does not play a primary role in this quadrant, but it can be attracted for sponsoring. Type 3 of vocational skills development is about industry solutions. This is based on the fact that many countries have huge youth unemployment rates with thousands of job seekers, but still the more dynamic and growth-oriented part of the industry does not find the necessary human resources. They need solutions now. They cannot wait until national systems might have improved one day. They need responsive training solutions meeting their short and medium term requirements. And this is frequently not about entry-level qualifications, but rather about specialized professionals, shop floor supervisors, first-level managers. Instruments for projects working in this quadrant are tailor-made training programs, quality training programs developed together with the concerned industry. This may be the establishment of sectoral training centers, like for instance a hotel school or a garment training center, and these are dual models. Partners in this quadrant are leading companies, including international or Swiss companies. These are business associations or clusters of industries, and these are centers of excellence. Type 4 of vocational skills development is labor market integration. This is about labor market integration of specific target groups and early school leavers. This usually requires more than just training. People from these target groups must be accompanied on their path into employment. And this requires a whole bunch of active labor market policies. Projects working in this quadrant may apply employment promotion, for instance, labor market information, placement services, coaching, temporary salary subsidies, and the like. They may work with temporary employment programs, skills development and catch-up education, or promotion of self-employment with access to microfinances and startup support. Partners in this quadrant are primarily ministries of labor or social affairs, and NGOs. Training institutions under educational structures might serve as service providers, but they are never the owners or financiers of labor market integration programs. The different types of vocational skills development produce different outcomes, as presented in this graph. These outcomes are the basis for the formulation of common outcome indicators. What are the specific Swiss strengths and resources for the different types of vocational skills development? The Swiss VET system is very diversified, though we can learn from it how to manage diversity. Another strength of the Swiss system is the focus on practice learning. Also from this, projects can learn. Possible resources include VET schools and the Federal VET Institute. In access and inclusion, it is mainly the marvelous Swiss vocational information, guidance and counseling system which can serve as inspiration. This is a BITS system. BITS stands for Berufsinformationszentrum. These are the cantonal career guidance centers which can also serve as resources. Industry solutions are the traditional core business of the Swiss VET system. Here, dual approaches and apprenticeship schemes can play a crucial role. Sectoral associations and specialized schools, for instance hotel management, can serve as resources. In labor market integration, it is a whole bunch of active labor market policies which is applied by the regional employment centers. These RAF can serve as role models. Universities of applied science may play a role for the training of job coaches. This was a short introduction into the Vocational Skills Development Typology Tool number 1. It will be followed by 2 others, one on governance and one on the cooperation with the private sector. Both are applications of the coordinate system presented here. For this webinar, they are available in draft versions for your discussion and feedback. I wish you a fruitful webinar. Thank you and bye-bye.